talking about how to visualize your sewing ideas with Magic Mockup, which is, in my opinion, probably the coolest feature of the Stash Hub Sewing Organiser app. So yeah, let's get into it. Actually, before we get into it, I want to do some very scientific market research via the very reliable means of clapping and cheering. So give me a clap and a cheer if you've already heard of Stash Hub before I shoved a leaflet into your hand earlier.
Yay!
Okay, few people, not bad, that's good. And yeah, give me a clap and a cheer if this is your first time hearing about Stash Hub. Okay, excellent, some newbies. So yeah, hopefully you guys will all know about Stash Hub by the end of this talk, and you'll be excited to try out Magic Mockup, which is a really cool tool. So yeah, this is a sewing organiser app, so hopefully we've got a lot of sewists in the audience, and I know that a lot of you guys will have stashes as well, especially after today anyway. So this is the example of a Magic Mock-up. This is the mock-up of this dress actually, and you can create images like this about your projects really quickly and easily. You don't need to learn Procreate or Photoshop or even have like any technical skills and no artistic skills, and you can literally create them in seconds. So I'm going to show you how it works up here in just a minute, but this is just a really simple slide to show you what Magic Mockup is and what you need. So all you need is the line drawing of the pattern that you're thinking of making and a photo of your fabric, and then Magic Mockup, which is the feature in the Stash Hub app, combines them together to create this lovely mock-up for you, so then you can get a really good idea of what your project's going to look like before you even cut into your fabric, and then that helps motivate you to sew the finished project. So yeah, you're seeing double now, that's me in this outfit. So yeah, I'm going to tell you all about how Magic Mockup works. But before we get into that, I'm going to introduce myself to you all. It sounds like there's a lot of people that are new to Stash Hub here. So there's me. My name is Yvette. So if anyone's confused by the program that says my name's Yvonne, my name is Yvette. And this is me in 2021. I just learned how to sew in 2020 and then got really into dressmaking in 2021. And also got really into buying fabrics, as we all do, and I had no way to kind of keep on top of what fabrics I had, so and because I was new to sewing as well, I didn't really know about different fabric fibres and what was what, so I wanted a way to keep a record of it, but my Word document that I have was purely dreadful. I would not recommend that. So my lovely and very useful husband was teaching himself coding at the same time that I was learning how to sew. And similar to sewing, it's much more fun if you've got a project to work on when you're building your skills with coding. So he was like, oh, I could try coding you an app to help you out with your stash and keep on top of it. And it was so good and so useful for me that we worked together to work up this idea that he'd had into a proper app that we could then release on the app stores and share with the sewing community. So I am the co-founder of Stash Hub, which is a sewing organiser app, a business which I now run with my husband. So yeah, it's really exciting how basically my own chaos and lack of organisation has turned into this amazing business that I can run with my husband. And our mission at Stash Hub is to help you fall in love with your stash. So yeah, you're going to want to remember that one, because I'm going to refer back to our mission statement a few times during this talk. But I'm sure a lot of you guys, if you've got a stash, you might be feeling potentially a bit overwhelmed by it, or just a bit like confused about what to make. So we're going to help you with that through this talk and through the Stash Hub app. So what is Stash Hub? So I've already mentioned that Stash Hub is an app, and it is a sewing organiser app. So you can download Stash Hub on the App Store, the Play Store, or use it on your computer via the web. So if you go to the website web.stashhubapp.com, you can use it on your computer as well, and you can use it across devices as well. You just need to log in with the same account. And there is loads of features in Stash Hub. So we launched Stash Hub in July 2022, and we had an amazing team of beta testers. So when we first launched Stash Hub, it started out with just a way to catalogue your fabrics and your patterns so that you know what you have in your collection. but the app's grown so much since then, and we've got all kinds of features. So we've got stats, so you can view your sewing stats and the numbers on your stash and what your favourites are. We've got challenges, so you can see what's happening in the sewing community on Instagram. You can also catalogue your notions. We've got exclusive discounts in shops. You can save your inspiration, and then of course Magic Mockup, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So you might be thinking, this is a sewing organiser app, right? Why have you added all of these other features that aren't just organising the supplies that you already have? But if you remember back to our mission statement, which is to help you fall in love with your stash. So these features are all designed to inspire you to reconnect with your stash and use what you've got. So it's much easier to fall in love with a stash when you're feeling really inspired by it. So this is a photo of some of my fabric stash. So when other people look at this, they might think, okay, that's a lot of fabric, so what? Having your own connection with your own stash is much more important than what other people think about it. So when I look at my stash, this is what I see. So these are all Magic Mockups that I've created using fabrics from my stash. So when I look at my stash, I see all of these projects that I'm going to make, and I see all of the potential that I've got in my stash, rather than just seeing loads of fabric and feeling really overwhelmed, like what have I done, why did I buy all of this? So it's a really good way to visualise what you're going to make, and also a bit of a so there, when people say, why have you got all this fabric? You can say, look, I'm going to make all of these amazing things, and it's much easier for people to understand that, and for yourself as well, if you're struggling to visualise what to make. So now I'm going to give you a little demo of how Magic Mockup works. So this demo is in real time, so you'll be able to see how quick and easy it is to use. But we're going to do a Q&A at the end, so if there's anything that you missed during the demo, or if you've got any questions, we'll go through that at the end. So this was recorded on the web version of Stash Hub on my computer, but it works in exactly the same way on the app version of Stash Hub. So if we head to Magic Mockup in the menu, and then I'm going to start by adding a fabric. So I tap the plus button to add a new fabric. You can either upload a fabric from your gallery or add one from a record. So from record takes me to all of my fabrics that I've got in Stash Hub, and then I can choose a fabric from there. And you want to choose a nice flat image, so that the has been taken from directly above the fabric, nice even lighting and not too crumpled, not the swirly one to see the drape. And I'm going to do the same to add a pattern from my Stash Hub record. So this gives you just a little idea of how you can catalogue your fabrics and patterns in Stash Hub as well. So then I'm choosing a pattern, and you want to crop out just one view of that pattern, and make sure you don't crop off any of the edges as well. And then click crop, and then this is the magic happening. Boom, it's done so quick. You didn't have to learn how to draw or anything like that. And then you can just scale the fabric, adjusting to however big the print is on the fabric. And I've seen some people using this as well when they're designing their own fabrics to see how different scales might look on a garment, which is really cool. And then I can just click through options. So let's say I'm trying to decide what to make with this fabric. I can click through my options that I've got in Magic Mockup and choose what I think is going to look the best. So for this fabric, I've decided I like this bow pattern. You've also got the option to invert the outline, which is really good if you've got a dark fabric, so you can still see the design lines. When you're happy, just click download, and then you can either download it to your gallery and play with it how you like from there, or you can create a project in Stash Hub. So this pulls in the details of my fabric from my stash, the pattern, and then you can add all of these extra things to link to it, and then there's a picture of my mock-up. So that reminds me of what I'm planning to make with that fabric and gives me a bit of extra excitement and motivation to get that sewn up. So hopefully that was clear enough for you guys and gave you an idea of how easy it is to use Magic Mockup. So I'm just going to quickly go through what you need to do Magic Mockup. So you need a flat image of the fabric. So you can either take one yourself, or what I would recommend is download one from the website if you buy fabrics online, or from a shop that sells online, because they will have already taken really nicely lit photos, and you want at least one repeat of the pattern. and that just makes your mock-up look so much better than if you've got a fabric, when they twist them around to show the drape, gives you a much clearer idea of what your finished garment is going to look like. And then the same for line drawings. You want a really nice clear line drawing. So again, I'd recommend downloading the line drawing from the website of where you buy the pattern, and not use one that's like coloured in like this green one, because that that green is going to overlay on your print and you won't be able to see your design as well. So you want a nice clear line drawing, and make sure you don't crop off any of the edges. You can also use a line drawing that you've done by hand. So this is a picture that I drew for an idea of a dress that I had. So you can see I'm not particularly artistic, but I've just drawn this with a dark pen on white paper and then just upped the contrast in my Photos gallery app. And then I can upload that into Magic Mockup, and you can see the effect is really good even with my kind of dodgy drawing, and I can get an idea of what my dress is going to look like. And then I can sew up my dress. I think it kind of lives up to the vision that I drew myself. So that's really good if you like to draft your own patterns, or if you're a pattern hacker and you like to mix and match bits from different patterns. So what are the benefits of Magic Mockup? So we've talked a bit about the what is it, the combining of the fabrics and the line drawings, and we talked about the how with the little demo. But what are the benefits of doing a Magic Mockup? Why do it? What's going to be the benefit? So the first thing that you can do with your Magic Mockup is to create projects. So I showed you in the demo that you can create a project in Stash Hub. And you can create projects in Stash Hub without doing a Magic Mockup as well, but doing it through Magic Mockup just links your project to that mockup image that you've generated. And that gives you kind of, having that project on your project list can give you that accountability to get sewn up, and you can do all kinds of things like link your notions, make a shopping list, link it up with challenges, put a deadline on it if it's for a particular event, and it can be really motivating for you to get that project sewn up. And now I'm going to show you one of the funnest things in Stash Hub for when you complete a project. So when you update the status to complete, ta-da! It's like an extra dopamine hit when you finish that project, just to celebrate that great feeling that you get from finishing a project. And it gives you a few little stats about your project as well. So yeah, that's one of the benefits, the motivation of having that project. And it also means you don't forget what your plans are as well. Another thing that you can do with your mock-ups is share them. So this is a share graphic that you can create from the projects page in Stash Hub. So this is a pair of funky trousers that I want to make for my next sunny holiday. So you could send these mock-ups directly to someone you know, so a sewing friend, or maybe if you like to sew for other people, you can say, hey, I'm thinking of making you this, do you like the idea of it? And they can visualise what it's going to be like a bit better than if you try and describe it and say, well, it's a wide leg trouser with that really crazy fabric that's all the colours of the rainbow, and they say, oh, that just sounds like all of your fabrics. So you can share it directly with someone, or you can post it more publicly on social media, like Instagram or Facebook. And it's also good if you are struggling to sew your stash because of that kind of choice paralysis, where you've got all these fabrics and all these patterns and you don't know what to make. You could share a few options online, or share them to your friends and say, oh, what should I do with this crazy rainbow fabric? I've got this trousers idea, or should I do a skirt, or I've got this idea, and maybe they can help you make that decision, as well as you being able to help yourself make that decision as well by visualising what the final project might look like. And then you can also download your mock-ups to your gallery and just play with them however you like. So this is the beginnings of my holiday capsule wardrobe. So I'm going to the Canary Islands next year, so I'm hoping for a little bit of sunshine and a chance to wear my bright and crazy fabric collection. So I can play with these together, and I can see that my tops are going to mix and match really nicely with the bottoms. And I can also view this capsule more as a whole rather than just looking at one project individually. And I've noticed, just looking at this now, that I'm kind of lacking any kind of jacket or cover up. So while I'm at the show today, I'm on a lookout for some nice kind of like navy linen or something, and I might do a kind of linen shirt as like a cover up to wear in the evenings. So that's another good way that you can play with your Magic Mock-ups and get an idea of how your finished projects might pair up together, because we don't want to spend lots of time sewing and end up with what I call wardrobe orphans that never get worn because they don't go with anything. And then another idea of what you can do with your mock-ups is you can print them out. So that's really good if, in addition to being quite a visual person, you're also quite tactile. Maybe you've got a kind of physical mood board in your sewing room and you want to see all of your projects out on the mood board together. Maybe put a swatch of the fabric with it, or if you like to make a kind of scrapbook of your projects, you can put that in as a record of your project. So there's loads of ways that you can play with your mock-ups and use them to inspire your projects, help you decide what to make, look at your collections as a whole, and share them with your friends or other people that you're making for as well. And I'm sure you guys will have lots of your own ideas as well of how you can use these mock-ups. So Magic Mockup is just one feature in Stash Hub, and I mentioned towards the beginning that there are loads of features in Stash Hub. So as well as cataloguing your collection, you can plan your project, save your measurements, all kinds of stuff. So if you want to see more about Stash Hub, you can download it on the App Store if you're on iOS, or the Play Store on Android, or use the web version on your computer, and you can use between all of the different versions, the different platforms, just log into the same account and everything will sync up. So if you find it easier to type on your computer, but then you want to check how much fabric you've got when you see a nice pattern when you're out and about, you can look at it up on your phone and it will all be synced up there. So I'm at stash_hub on social, so I'm very active on Instagram, and I'm also on YouTube, where we have lots of Stash Hub tutorials, so you can get to grips with the app. And online we are stashhubapp.com, and then there is a free version of Stash Hub, so you can use Stash Hub and download it and use it entirely for free, and you can use Magic Mockup for free as well. But there are limits on how many records that you can upload. So you can upload 20 of each record in the free version. But I'd really recommend testing out Stash Hub Plus, because you can upload unlimited records. So however big your stash is, you can get that into Stash Hub and get on top of all of the things that you've got. And then there's things like advanced filters. So if you're doing your mock-up and you're not quite sure like what pattern you want to use yet, you could say, I want to filter for all of my dresses that I've got, and it has to have pockets. So then it will show you only the dresses with pockets that are your options, and then see what you can make with that fabric. And yeah, there's all kinds of extra things that you get with Stash Hub Plus. So we've priced it really, really affordably. So it's $3.49 a month or $34.99 a year. And if you've got one of the postcards that I put out at the beginning, there's a code on there for a free month of Stash Hub Plus, so you can test it out with no limits, and see how you get on with the app. And we're always really responsibly keen to help as well. So if you don't have a card, I've put some on the pillars on your way out, if you want to grab one of those and yeah, give Stash Hub a go. So yeah, that's my talk bit done. But if you guys have got any questions, or if you want to see the app in action, want to go through anything a bit slower, just let me know. Yeah, and I'd love to hear from you guys.